Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to talk about some quick preparation in regards to the Annihilators coming into the game very soon. If you guys have caught my past videos over the last week here, you'll know that this is going to be the next super team coming into Marvel Strike Force. So, even for myself being free to play, I love giving you guys this insight and input because I do believe this team is going to strongly reshape everything that we know in the meta. Having said that, feel free to use your wallet to spend for these characters because this is probably going to be one of those rare opportunities where you're buying very likely the best characters for quite some time, unless this is a foreseeable trend that they keep on continuing. But typically what we've seen in the past, arena teams do stay put, as we know from previously before, Secret Defenders, the Horseman teams, and then now more recently the Black Knight, Logan, as well as Super Skrull Apocalypse meta. So do what's best for you in your game priorities. But in today's video, guys, I want to talk about some obvious things that you want to be avoiding if you're planning to spend money on these characters, or if you're like myself, if you've hoarded 20,000 plus power cores or even more than that and you're saving it up for these characters. I do want to point out some obvious traps that you might want to be aware of. First and foremost though, in case you haven't already, you can see here I'm still continuing to hoard my ISO 8 energy. It's because Hank Pym's event is next week again. If you want to take advantage of that, it's going to be likely very similar to what we're seeing right now happening with the radioactive prep, which is the leaderboard right here. And I didn't get a chance to prepare as much as I could, but as you can see right here, still in the top 10,000 range with 4 days remaining. Will I stay afloat? Not sure, but I wasn't prepared for this event. Hence why, if you want to be doing better in the leaderboards, make sure you guys are hoarding ISO 8 because that's going to be huge. Now let's talk about the topic on hand here, which is this Annihilator team. If you're planning to spend, if you're planning to use power cores, it is confirmed now. Gladiator is going to be the first out of the three coming into the game. I suspect it's probably going to be Gladiator, followed by Gorr, and then lastly, Thanos endgame. Why is that the case? Well, it's going in order of priority and importance on the team. Without question, Thanos endgame is going to be the most dominant. He's going to be the strongest piece of this team and essentially the core and the engine, as we'll see quickly as we go through some of their abilities and key takeaways. But in case you guys are only planning to spend once or only planning to use power cores once, given your limited resources, I would focus and wait for Thanos endgame. If you're going to be spreading it across the the three characters, by all means, that's a good approach as well. I'm probably going to be doing a mix. I plan on likely spending 5,000 power cores on Gladiator, 5,000 on Gorr, and then likely the remaining on Thanos endgame. With each of these characters being 100 shard unlocked characters, it's going to be very unlikely that I get all of them unlocked beforehand, but I know if I save about 10,000 for Thanos, I'm likely going to get his unlock the day that he's released and building up to the moon, just like the way that I did with Black Knight when he came into the game. I want to point out some real quickly, guys, why some of their kits are important and why they're going to be reshaping the arena meta, because I've gotten this question asked quite a few times why they're important. So important to point out, right? At the end of the day, remember how I've built up this arsenal of power cores. It's all from arena. If we know that the arena meta is going to change to reflect this new team, it only makes sense. I'm going to give back what I've saved up and reinvest, so that way it's going to give me some prominence. It's going to give me value back into this game mode that I prioritize, and going forward it's going to open more doors for me because I'll be using a team that's going to have value across all game modes, and more importantly, the way that it helps me generate power cores. Gladiator is a very strong character, guys, and don't let me downplay this at all. All three of these characters are very good. Thanos endgame is the best, but all three of them are exceptionally good. Silver Surfer and Ultimus have also been revised significantly. You really want to be building up all these characters to at least gear tier 17 or 18, in my honest opinion. But in the instance where you need to sub out some characters in the arena meta, it's going to be Ultimus and Silver Surfer taking the short end of the stick. Hence why I want you guys to understand that the focus is going to be on these three new characters, because new characters are always usually the better characters. Now, having said that, Gladiator's kit is very good, but the one thing I do want to highlight and how you can differentiate him from the rest of the other Annihilator characters is what he's going to be bringing into the arena fold, which is right here. In arena, this character and all Annihilator allies cannot gain slow, and on top of that, while he's actually above that 50% threshold, enemies cannot fill or reduce their speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies. That means if you're up against any kind of character where there is some sort of speed bar manipulation, that's going to get prevented right away. They can't fill up the speed bar by any other means other than the normal means. And on top of that, your allies can't be gaining slow. I think this is going to be a difference maker in all the arena matches. But I like the fact that they've also given him a lot of value outside of arena. But this is why you want to be building a character like Gladiator, because he's going to have the main supportive role for the team. But at the same time, this is going to prevent enemies from getting that turn meter advantage. So characters Skrull, Apoc, Mephisto. Now Gorr, he's gonna be strong in another aspect here with the God Butcher passive here. What he's gonna be bringing to the table respectively is lowering the assist chance of all enemies by 100%. So assisted attacks for characters such as Old Man Logan, that's not gonna happen anymore. He's gonna be preventing him from having those additional attacks. This is gonna likely very well counter Old Man Logan. So for those of you that are planning to unlock Logan, build him up all the way to the moon and bring him into arena, it's not gonna be as felt. You won't get his prominence if you're up against a character like Gorr on the opposing side because of this mechanic given. And even worse than that is, while he has a charge, this is actually going to prevent all of the Annihilator allies from gaining bleed. So it almost completely strips Old Man Logan useless at this point because of the fact that he's not going to be able to apply bleeds, and Old Man Logan won't be getting his assisted attacks. Hence why, if you guys are focused on bringing up Old Man Logan, just be cautious when you're using him against Gorr, because he's going to be completely countering him, and that's something you definitely need to be mindful of. I'm sure the developers, when they were designing Gorr's kit, put this into consideration. And then, last but not least, to take it all away, Thanos endgame. Why is he the most important member of the team? Why should you be focusing all your resources or money on him? It's because of the fact that he just completely takes away some of the biggest meta impacts that we've seen in the last couple of years. His Rainfire passive ability here. First of all, enemies cannot gain immunity. So if there's any sort of immunity being granted on spawn, it's gone. Next up, in arena, this character and all Annihilator allies also cannot gain trauma. So once again, we go back to that Old Man Logan example. We go back to Super Skrull, Apocalypse. Their trauma that they inflict is no longer going to stick on the Annihilator allies, which means we can basically do whatever the heck we want to do because the debuffs can actually be cleared away. And on top of that, remember what I just said earlier, the immunity also cannot be granted. So it really puts the team in a very bad position when you're up against this Annihilator team. And I think what's even more crazy about this character is the fact that out of all the three members, Thanos has the best kit outside of arena because of the fact that whenever there's exposure getting attacked, which means there's a potential synergy here in the future combined with characters like Nightcrawler, Super Skrull, well, guess what? He's also going to be generating ability energy for 2 random allies or self when it's not full based on that exposure attack. Massive, guys, absolutely massive. He's going to have value in all game modes. And on top of that, he even has the opportunity here to actually clear negative effects from himself, attack all enemies, and just all across the board, guys. I cannot express how powerful this character is going to be, and his plug and play value, but more importantly, his synergy with Annihilator. So hopefully this helps to illustrate, guys. Again, Gladiator is going to be the first character coming. I would caution you to use your resources and money wisely because although he is important, Gorr is important as well, but the most important one is Thanos endgame. That way it can level your guys' expectations. Prioritize Thanos endgame, but for sure, Gladiator and Gorr are very, very important for this team to fully function. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.